Okay, we're testing out how my hair is looking right now because I just got out of the shower. Sorry I'm a little bit late for today's live. Usually I'm right on the hour and we're about 15 minutes late, but many of you guys will be joining later anyway, so all good. I am super excited to talk to you guys today about being an empath in business, being someone who is highly sensitive and who is an empath in business. And this is the people that I have the honor of working with. Yes, by the way, you're going to hear these roosters crowing because I'm in Bali. That's what happens. But this is a really lovely view. I'll show you. It's just a sweet little area, but everything is like so green here. It's really sweet. So yes, we will be hearing some roosters crowing. So yeah, let's talk about being an empath. Let's talk about being a highly sensitive person in business. And this is who, there it is. This is who I get to work with, and I just absolutely love it because in fact this week I've had some really powerful calls because when you are an empath in business, I mean, ultimately the way that I describe who I work with is that they've got some message or calling coming through them. And so this means that you're showing up, you know, with what's coming through you. It's really coming from your heart. It's coming through you. And what happens, this is actually, you know, what the work that I love to do is really helping you get out of your own way. But the thing that is really key with that I say is that this is not about you actually like removing yourself or anything. In fact, the biggest invitation of this is being so fully embodied in who you are, so fully embodied in all of who you are, really living in your truth. And it requires you, this embodiment piece is so huge, and often, especially if you have something emerging or calling forth. I hope you guys can hear me. I should maybe have my headphones on. It's a little bit loud out here. If you have something emerging or calling forth, you're really going to need to make sure that you, and that's actually usually what feels most scary, right, is that you're being called to embody this at a deeper level. And that's when it brings up all these feelings and all these beliefs and fears and thoughts of like, am I going to be able to handle it? Do I know how to do this? There's a real, like, I had this feeling, I've had it many times in my life, but I remember a big one was in 2014, and there's an element of this actually, which is just even expansion, right? So when we are expanding, there's this whole thing that wants to come through. You are being expanded, and so as you are being expanded, it's like your capacity within your body is having to expand to allow what is coming through. And this can be intense when it's coming through because we will start questioning ourselves, like, do we have what it takes? You know, do I know how to do this? Am I going to do it right? Am I going to do it well? Are people going to like me? Am I going to seem crazy, right? There's all these pieces that come up. And at the same time, so you're super sensitive to what's going on with you, but if you are in service of others and here you're trying to make sales or you're trying to do marketing, and one thing I've found to be true is that authenticity is so important to us that are highly sensitive. We can sniff out bullshit, right? We're empathic, so we really care. We don't want to be doing things that are out of alignment or don't feel good, don't feel right, don't feel honoring to those that we're serving. And all these pieces then can lead to this fear. They can lead to the fear of all these things, right? Like kind of the worst possible case scenario of all these things of like, you know, what if I do this and somebody doesn't like it? Or what if I do it and somebody's hurt or offended, or, you know, all of the above, right? It's amazing how we can create so many stories for this. But something that I really want to just bring through about being highly sensitive, about being an empath, and really the gifts that are in this are that you are someone who is able to really touch, like, this is such a deep and beautiful connection that you have, and it's something that I really want you to know and cherish, and know that it's not a weakness in your business, but that it is absolutely 100% a strength. And in particular for this paradigm that we're evolving into, that we're stepping into right now, I believe that we are in a time where we must must know how to be sensitive of others. We're starting to be in this time of it's requiring us to have to be emotionally intelligent, essentially, and that those of us who are kind of like exercising the muscles of emotional intelligence down to even working with other people and being able to collaborate, being able to have tough conversations, right? Being able for you to stand your own ground and really know who you are. So all of your training ground, I almost see it, right? All the training ground that you've had of being a highly sensitive person in a really tough world, being an empath, and possibly having a really tough family life, or being someone that cares so much about other people, which may lead to overgiving or having some of your boundaries be either invaded or crossed, or you letting them be crossed because you care, and so through the lens of caring you actually are really giving a whole bunch. But the truth is that all this time, no matter where you are and how tough it might still be, you are essentially in training. You are in training to be this next wave, to help rise up and help really usher in this new paradigm for being this amazing woman, this amazing man or woman, this amazing being that is here to help with this collective healing. And so you've literally been in a training ground of learning how to take care of yourself, learning how to be present with your own feelings, learning to listen and notice, right? All the noises and the things around you that are possibly impacting you. And how that feels on a somatic level. How does that feel in your body? How is it really impacting you? And that's ultimately what being a highly sensitive person is, and an empath is. The gift in it is that it seats you back in your body. There's so many people that are just in their heads, and they think that this body is just here to get them through the day and just to work and just one thing after another, and it's just go, go, go. But the gift of being a highly sensitive person and an empath is you actually get to drop in to this deeper heart space, this deeper somatic space in your body that recognizes that there's so much more than just us doing, going, right? And every day. There's a, kind of looking at our evolution when we can come into kind of somatic awareness. So a sweet framework for you to recognize is, and you guys will get this because many of you are already here. We're actually in this beautiful tipping point of already being here in so many ways, which is that even when we're growing up, right, we kind of do just only have this awareness of our physical body, and even then we're kind of fighting it. We don't like it, or we're abusing it in all kinds of ways. And there's a point in not everyone's life actually. Some people go to their grave not having this awareness, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys who are watching this will have this awareness, which is that there's some point where you realize you are more than just this body, right? You start sensing into energy. You can start sensing into the energy that even you and I can connect right now, that you're feeling right now here with me, even across the airwaves, right? With me being all the way in Bali. But just really that you start recognizing that you are more than just this body, that you have this heart and this energy that both can feel things coming in and also can send that energy out. And especially for those of you who are healers and empaths and really doing this work, especially on a very somatic level, or just energetic level, what have you, you get this so big time, right? So there's 3 levels of this, and it's really cool. If you guys have ever looked into human design, there's human design and then there's gene keys. And so looking into the gene keys, if you're interested in this, essentially what the gene keys helps you recognize is that there's this, what they call the dull, and that's just like the body. It's like just the body. When you're just identified with the body and you don't really have too much more that you have this awareness around, this is kind of like the basic, if you will, right, in our modern terminology. So the basic level of understanding is just this body. But when you start coming into recognizing that there's more than that, there's this next level, and I forget what they call it. I might have it actually. It's the potential, actually. So the next level is really this potential, which is just expanded out one level. And that's, again, like I said, this is when you're starting to recognize that there's actually more energy, that you have this capability that's beyond just your body. You're starting to recognize that you can exchange energy, feel energy, make impacts in the world just with your thoughts and your feelings and your intentions. Then there is this one next level, which is the fully expanded, and many of you guys are also there, right, where you are connected to the limitlessness and the vastness and this truly like the infinite, right? And that's this, in fact, I'm trying to remember in Gene Keys what they call it there. It's enlightenment in the Gene Keys. So that goes dullness, potential, and then enlightenment, and which they actually call the Theta as well. So I highly recommend you can actually go on the Gene Keys website and get a free chart for yourself and then buy the book. It is mind-blowing. But all this is to say that even as empaths, to be highly sensitive and then to be an empath, recognizing that you have already expanded into this energetic field that is beyond your body, right? So you have already recognized that there's more than just this, and you may be also connected to the infinite, which is actually a lot of the people that I work with are so connected to this infinite and so connected to the 5D that a lot of what I'm actually helping them do is integrate and come back and embody into this 3D. And so that's where it's so powerful to bring this somatic awareness, and also this when we embody, there's a natural piece, and I call this embodied leadership. You can call this, just being embodied, right? Being embodied. And I've had so many beautiful sessions of this week because I've worked with, like I said, very expanded, incredible beings that are here doing this phenomenal work. And there's so much in this which is about your ability to calm, this is a big one, calm your nervous system in this physical body. So we've been incarnated in these physical bodies, and for you to know how to calm your nervous system, so you can even, as you're even watching this, you can give yourself some squeezes and just like touching your body. Like I'm kind of like touching my legs. I'm just covering the camera. I like touch my legs, touch your arms, touch your body, and really like presencing yourself into your body. And what this does is it can help calm your nervous system. And you can actually, from your expanded mind and your expanded consciousness, actually come back in and say, I'm right here, I've got you. Because these bodies are like our infinite minds, and our consciousness are so fast, right? We can travel the world in our minds so fast. We can put ourselves in a million different situations and in a million different timelines and time and space, and yet our bodies, they're a little bit slower. They are here on this physical plane in the 3D, and so for us to actually carry them and really take care of them and be present with them and loving and patient with them is so crucial. So as we are learning to embody these gifts that are coming through us and to us, for you to really be compassionate. Yes, thank you, Laura. So good to see you. Yes, and so just to really be so compassionate and kind, and know that this is this gift that is, and there's a beautiful phrase that many of you guys have probably heard, but it's really wants to be in here, which is feel to heal. And so often we fight our feelings, or we diminish them, or we cast them off, or we just want to stay in our 5D realms, right? And this is where, sometimes we can get hooked into being in the spiritual world, because it can feel so good, right? When we can just be in that expanded mind and we can meditate, and that's so beautiful. This is also, though, why we love dancing, and why we love, being in our bodies in all kinds of ways, right? Swimming in the ocean, sex, like all these things, right? For us to be fully embodied and really like just pleasuring and being in delight with this human form and recognizing this temple that we're in and being so compassionate and kind to us. So when we feel to heal and when we allow ourselves to feel, like I work with a lot of, I just have had some sessions this week where there are feelings that, in fact, this is one of my specialties, right, is being able to actually look at what's not working, what is feeling. And half the time, most of the time, we're like, haven't I gotten over that yet? Haven't I worked through that yet, right? Like, haven't I fixed that yet? And so we start diminishing, or we get tired of our own story and we get tired of our own stuff. But the thing is it will continue to come up and teach us. It will continue to loop around and give us new opportunities to work on stuff, which is usually very, very connected to our body. This is where trauma is stored in our body. So if you've had something, like there's this whole thing of kind of like, unresolved traumas in our bodies, and this perception that we should be able to fix those or heal those or take care of those. But I really think, and not to say that it has to keep coming up, I do think that you can get more skilled at being able to work with it when it comes up, because you've got the conscious awareness. So you could say, there's that again, right? There's another opportunity for me to say, set a boundary with my physical body, or set a boundary with my energy, my mental and emotional energy today, right? So you start to raise this awareness. All of that awareness gives you the ability to do is act on behalf of yourself, and act on behalf of all that you know that you are as a highly sensitive empath, as a human being with this physical body, as a, that has its limitations with its energy, that needs you to be feeding it so well, needs you to be taking time to rest and have delight in pleasure and joy and relaxation and sunshine on your face, right? So really, really. And then even the dark stuff, just really making sure that we bring in space for this, is the deep wounds that aren't heard, and or even deep desires and dreams and ideas that want to be heard. This is a big one as well, which is that you might have these deep desires, dreams, ideas, wishes that want to be heard through you and want to be manifest through you. And they actually, it's a beautiful Brene Brown quote. I saw her speak once and she said this, and I've been using it ever since for years. I love it because it's that unused creativity manifests as grief in our body. And this is really big. I think all of you guys can identify with this. If you've had an idea, if you've had a dream, if you've had a wish, if you've had this longing and you don't get it at some point, or you don't birth it into the world at some point, there's some part of you that still has this longing for it, this small bit of grief or mourning or something in your body that's, I can think back to ones that ideas that I had when I was a little girl that I never acted on, that I didn't have the confidence of at the time, or I didn't have the support at the time, and how much I still have that within my body because it wanted to be realized. There's also one more thing which I'll just add here. If any of you guys have read any Richard Bach, Richard Bach wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull, which is a beautiful book, but he also wrote these books like Bridge Across Forever and One, and they were these beautiful books all about him going back, like basically going back in a paradigm to meet his former self and try to make sure that his former self didn't miss the opportunity to meet, or basically like he wanted to make sure that he met or kept or didn't lose or something like that, this love of his life that he was supposed to meet and be with. And so it's a really beautiful book, but along these lines, as he's traveling back through paradigms, and he's a pilot just like Jonathan Livingston Seagull, he's a seagull and he's flying, and it's all about freedom and flying free and listening to your heart, like beautiful messages in these books. In Bridge Across Forever, or maybe it's One, he at some point meets this part of himself that is called Tink, and I imagine Tink to be kind of like a little like fairy, and Tink is his muse. And Tink, I will never forget this piece. I think about it all the time when we're listening to these ideas that are coming through and we're honoring these ideas that are coming through, which is that Tink meets him and she says, I like literally want to cry every single time I say it. She says, you know, when you wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull and you finally listened to me, she's like, I had been sending you so many ideas and so many things that you started and then you'd put down, or you'd start and you wouldn't finish. And when you wrote that book and you finished it, she's like, I was so happy that you listened, you know. And she says, I'm sending you ideas all the time. And so for you to know that like there's this muse, that there's this, you know, and I always say this is knocking on your door, right? There's this muse, there's this inspiration, these messages, whether you call it spirit or whatever that is coming to you all the time and wanting to be manifest through you, and for you to be fully embodied as all of you are, all that you are, right? Highly sensitive and empath and all of that, for you to really be willing to embody that and get the support that it requires to embody that, and remember that you can, and that you are capable, and that you are brilliant and amazing. And even as a super sensitive person, that is your superpower. That is absolutely your superpower. It's my superpower. This is how I do what I do, and I feel so blessed to be able to do what I do and be able to then also serve and support these other brilliant, highly sensitive, empathic women and men that have these gifts coming through them. It's remarkable. Oh no! I'm outside and I probably should have gotten on my, off of this Wi-Fi. Okay, that's too bad. It looks so clear from over here, so I had no idea. Thank you for letting me know. I will complete with this. I feel complete with this. Roosters crowing. So we'll give you one last view of my view from Bali. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully it's not too painful to watch on the playback for all of you who joined again. And I look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. If you have any questions, please let me know. And of course, you can find more information on willowlovesyou.com. Lots of videos on my page. In fact, holy cow, I think this might be number 30. So exciting. Woo! Okay, lots of love. Mwah. Bye.